Shadows of Doubt is an ambitious detective simulator set in a gritty, procedurally generated city that feels like a blend of noir detective stories and cyberpunk aesthetics. At its core, it's about unraveling mysteries in a world where every piece of evidence matters. Every character has their own routine, and every building can be entered and explored. So, if you've ever wanted to step into the shoes of a private investigator, complete with sneaky tactics and quick thinking, this game might be the one you've been waiting for. From the moment you step into Shadows of Doubt, the sense of freedom hits hard. The city breathes life. Each building, street, and person is part of a web that you need to untangle. And this is where the game's strongest aspect comes into play: immersion. You're not just solving pre-written cases, you're thrown into an open world filled with emergent gameplay and procedurally generated mysteries. Each NPC has their own life, daily routines, and backstory, making the world feel incredibly alive and interactive. Your role as a detective is to make sense of all this chaos. Armed with your notepad, you'll be scouring apartments, hacking security cameras, interrogating suspects, and rummaging through trash bins for clues. It's not as easy as looking for red flags. Each case requires careful observation and logic. The game's design lets you choose how you approach your investigations, whether that's tracking suspects through the city or cleverly picking locks to gain access to hidden evidence. The real magic lies in the player's ability to make connections between events, people, and places. The game doesn't handhold. It expects you to work like a real detective, drawing connections between details and making assumptions based on what you've gathered. The ability to pin notes and connect clues on your detective board makes every case feel personal, a puzzle that you're actively piecing together rather than passively solving. Freedom is a double-edged sword here. You can, and often must, think outside the box to crack cases, but sometimes the sandbox nature can be overwhelming. The procedurally generated world means that not every clue will be easy to find, and at times you might be left scratching your head, feeling like you're running around aimlessly. Some players may enjoy this sense of challenge and realism. After all, real detective work isn't straightforward. However, those who prefer a more guided experience may find the open-ended nature a bit daunting. Visually, Shadows of Doubt opts for a blocky, voxel-based style, reminiscent of Minecraft, but with a darker, more atmospheric twist. The dimly lit city streets, the flicker of neon lights, and the rain pattering against windows all add to the sense of a seedy underbelly where crime festers. The attention to detail is evident, as every room tells a story, whether it's a messy apartment that hints at a suspect's personality or a meticulously clean office that raises suspicion. The sound design adds another layer to the game's atmosphere. It uses a combination of soft jazz tracks and environmental sounds to put you in the mood of a noir thriller. You'll hear conversations through walls, footsteps in the hallway, and doors creaking open, all of which feed into the paranoia and urgency of your investigations. When it comes to puzzle solving, the game shines. You'll be cracking safes, decoding messages, and figuring out the right questions to ask suspects. There's a nice mix of traditional puzzles and more context-based challenges that require you to think like a detective. This isn't just a point-and-click experience. You'll be interacting with the environment in various ways, whether it's climbing through vents or sneaking through back alleys to gather evidence. However, the complexity of these mechanics can be a bit of a double-edged sword. While the variety keeps things fresh, it can also lead to some confusion. There were times when the game didn't make it entirely clear what needed to be done next, leading to moments of wandering or frustration. But if you enjoy figuring things out on your own and don't mind a bit of trial and error, these moments might actually enhance your experience. Being a game that is so ambitious in its scope, Shadows of Doubt does have its rough edges. The AI can sometimes feel a bit too robotic, with NPCs performing actions that don't always make sense. For instance, suspects may wander into crime scenes or behave in ways that break the immersion, reminding you that you're still playing a video game. Also, as with many procedurally generated games, there can be some inconsistencies and occasional bugs. You might find an odd clue that doesn't make sense, or a character who gets stuck in a loop. While none of these issues are game-breaking, they can slightly mar the overall experience. The game's replayability is one of its major strengths. Since each case is procedurally generated, no two playthroughs are ever the same. Once you finish one case, you can pick up another, making it a game that you can keep returning to, always with fresh content. The sense of achievement when you finally crack a case and bring a criminal to justice is immensely satisfying, and it keeps you coming back for more. The way Shadows of Doubt caters to multiple playstyles is worth noting as well. You could be the clean-cut detective who always follows the rules, or the renegade who breaks into apartments and takes justice into your own hands. The choice is yours, and that makes the experience feel deeply personal. Shadows of Doubt stands out as a game that captures the feeling of being a real detective. It's not without its quirks. Occasional AI issues and the overwhelming nature of the world can be frustrating at times, but the sheer depth and freedom of choice make it a unique and compelling experience. It's a game that will resonate well with players who love piecing together stories and aren't afraid of a challenge. For those looking for a fresh take on the detective genre, Shadows of Doubt is absolutely worth a play. It might not hold your hand, and you'll likely stumble a few times along the way, but that's part of the thrill, solving crimes your own way. We give Shadows of Doubt an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.